Chainsaw Man. Am I louder? Have I just got a bit more louder than usual? I feel like I'm louder than usual now. I did put the gain up like, what, 2 decibels? Which is hardly anything the more I think about it, but I sound like I'm like right, well, actually I am right there, but you know what I mean. Don't question me. I've had a limited sleep. Don't question me. Anyway, enough talk of my inability to actually understand what I'm even doing anymore. I have actually returned to cover chapter 50 of Chainsaw Man, which happens to be a very crucial kind of point in the narrative, really, because technically speaking, we had the power-up moment. I should then go down into not so power-up moments. I should then go into like kind of French with magic, but technically speaking, it's not at the same time, because I didn't actually mention it, but it was actually pointed out after the stream, also on Reddit, that what Denji does with Beam is actually complete polar opposite to actually what you expect, because Beam's telling him that there's actually a better way to do all these things, but Denji's going his own way. He's basically just saying, look, I'm going to go do my own thing. So it's actually kind of funny, because he actually is, in a way, subverting again the whole entire trope. It's actually kind of funny. So yeah, that also happened, and also, yeah, we've actually hit Sharknado. It's actually called Sharknado, because we actually thought last week actually was Sharknado, but this is actually Sharknado. So anyway, it's actually important to actually go live. So, my throat's dying a little bit today as well. Go live for chapter 50 of Chainsaw Man. If I also remember correctly, it's actually been a year since Chainsaw Man actually first got published as well. It came out in November. I thought it came out in January, but it actually came out in November. I thought it was actually later, but it's actually been a whole entire year. It's not been a whole entire year in chapter length, because 2 chapters came out on the same day, I believe. That's probably why. But yeah, it's been a year, technically speaking. Anyway, the Sharknado is definitely real. Anyway, let's actually begin this chapter and actually see what does in 3 happen, because I'm actually really curious. It happening indeed. Technically speaking, this actually is the 7th. Is it 6th or 7th Sharknado property now at this point? I swear, 7th maybe? I can't remember. Anyway, so whoa, damn it! Grab onto something. It's a kaiju battle, because I have to watch this from the audience. It's a 50 Sharknado. That's actually so unbelievably like the weirdest kind of combo in the universe when you think about it. Like a goddamn dude, a chainsaw dude riding a goddamn shark. Technically speaking, the manga actually has in theory both literally and also probably figuratively jump the shark. There you go. And also there's a bomb lady as well. Your aim really sucks. You're like a cockroach. We're sick of explosions. Chainsaw! I love this manga so much. I love this manga so much. It's so good. Ow! Darn, what a waste. I went and cut off a perfectly good looking leg. Hey, Reze, take my blood. Damn. Oh, good. Wait, not good. This is just absurd. Oh man. What? Grab onto something. I can't. There's no way. It's fine. It's fine. You can let me go. Wait. Don't tell me that don't tell me that the actual death is actually the angel death, or the most literally the most anticlimactic way possible, which is both actually both technically apparent to their not apparent. What's the word? Makes sense to their character, I guess. Practically speaking. If I'm gonna die, I'm fine with it. It only means today was my time. It's okay. I've been ready to die for ages now. Oh, intrigue. Ah, what? Aki's like, no one else dies, boys. No one else dies, because I've seen like what 10 people die at this point. Literally, I think yeah, it's that 10 people have died like in front of Aki's eyes at this point, including his family. What? Why did you catch my hand? Do you want me to die? Hell no, I don't. How much did that decrease? How much did that decrease my lifespan? By about 2 months. Aki Brahmo, indeed. If you want to die, do it somewhere far away from me. I'm sick and tired of people dying on me right before my eyes. That's quite a cool shot, to be honest, of both Aki and the Angel Devil, though. Yeah, about over a year left. Because I'm doing things, he probably cut down to like what 5 months at this point. I guess by like what maybe 70 chapters in, he'll be down to like 5 months at most. Yeah, man, I got it easy. What I have to do is swing my chainsaw around like an idiot. At least he's honest. At least he's honest. Stay away. How can you not love this manga? Just tell me that the whole entire shot is basically the greatest shot in the universe. Essentially, it actually is just like Sharknado. Now, where's Reze? Huh? Lord Chainsaw? Damn. That's a whole lot of damn moments now. Poor Beam, look at him. Look at poor boy. Ugh. Youcha, that hurt. Thanks for the thanks for save, Beam. Yeah. Oh, Denji. Isn't it about time you gave up? Nope. Oh man, and there we go. That's a whole entire chapter in a nutshell. Oh wow, that actually was a pretty interesting chapter. I mean, mostly it was kind of like, Sharknado. But, it kind of gives a resolve to Aki's character as well, because Aki's kind of got to the point that he's accepting that everyone literally dies around him. Like, he's kind of got to that point that he has that moment you see a lot in other mangas as well, because that whole no one else is dying on me kind of shtick is a very common thing. Yeah, it was actually, because that also highlights a bit more about who Angel actually is, and actually what's going on there with him, and who he actually possibly could in theory be. I guess it might be the person he loved or cared about or was looking after or was looked after by. That could also be that could be them. But yeah, the whole thing with Aki is kind of interesting because again, he has those moments that are very kind of like cliched towards the whole entire manga, or mangas in a nutshell, really. But at the same time, what is done here is done differently, because it doesn't really feel as if it's actually cliched, because a lot of the time he's robbed again of the moments later on. So basically speaking, he actually has that kind of paradigm shift between what's otherwise kind of cliched and actually what isn't, because he's just kind of he's robbed, technically speaking, of the limelight, because he has like 4 panels in the whole entire chapter, and that's it, and most of it's just like Denji doing stupid shit the whole entire time. And it's actually kind of interesting, because again, in other mangas, his character wouldn't work, because we'd be like, oh wow, we've seen his character before, there's no point following him. But for some arbitrary reason, he works really well in his whole entire manga, and I actually kind of appreciate that about him, because he's always one of those characters that doesn't work anywhere else, but here it works perfectly, because he actually managed to juxtapose himself correctly against Denji's character, because we understand him to be the protagonist, technically speaking, but he's robbed of it. So I like that. That's actually kind of interesting. And yeah, we have the whole entire thing about who the Angel Devil truly is, because now we've got another mystery in our hands of who the hell Angel Devil actually is, or who that person was with the Angel Devil as well. There's too many mysteries in this whole entire manga actually kind of keep going. That's the thing. We don't really know what's going to happen here. See, I'm still leaning towards yeah. It's a kind of interesting thing that he, as you say, he went from hating devils to actually kind of saving one. Like, it's one of those things that it's because it's not as if it's just like, oh, he let his hand and actually kind of save someone. He actually is in theory impeding his own life. So there's that whole entire thing to deal with. it could in theory be the fact that Denji actually has in theory like kind of changed his perception slightly. Again, it's one of those things that actually is a very kind of contrived thing to do, because we know that sometimes characters in manga, especially main protagonists, do in theory change a person's perception of how they see people, but I guess Denji's actually a rare case because he's not doing it in a more conventional manner. Because everything he's doing is completely subverting the whole entirety of the main character trope. So him actually kind of growing accustomed to Denji's actual kind of bullshit makes sense, because the fact is he's changing his perception in an organic way. If it actually is Denji's actual way of doing it. If Denji actually is a kind of a very much a catalyst in this whole entire thing, he could in theory be changing his mind, because a lot of the things actually having for it actually kind of made him realize certain things. Possibly not limited to the fact that he's seen people die so much that he's kind of like, I just don't want anyone else to die, especially if they're devils at this point. But yeah, I still don't know who could in theory die as well. That's the thing. We don't really know who could die, because I guess someone has to die at the end of this besides Beam. Beam's got to survive. He's a good boy. We think. But I was kind of thinking that if Denji were to die, it would actually make sense in some like literal, some kind of literal way, because if we were to kind of examine it from the fact that the title itself is Chainsaw Man, it's not Denji the Chainsaw Man, is it? So applying that logic to it, you could in theory actually understand that maybe the Chainsaw Man is actually an entity rather than a person. So effectively speaking, there could in theory be, as we said last week, multiple versions of Denji. Like in essence, there's been previous Chainsaw Men. So him dying and someone else taking over does in theory make sense, because then the Chainsaw Man becomes a new person. So effectively speaking, Chainsaw Man just exists as an entity rather than an actual character. So it's kind of like 007 in a way. Like 007 is a number in the whole entirety of James Bond. It's not a person, it's a number only. Same thing applies possibly with Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is an entity rather than an actual character. Yeah, I don't think, though, to be honest, I think his character dying would actually be very kind of fitting. Like, very much in this kind of part of the manga, because he's a character trying to do a lot of things and actually has realized a lot of things in his actual own personality as well. For him to go and die at this point is very fitting, because he's a character kind of in the way robbed of everything as well. Because this whole entire arc has in theory made him realize certain things, but is robbing him of other things that otherwise have seen in other characters, in other mangas as well. So if he were to snuff it at some point, it would make sense, I think. But again, it's only a thought process, because it kind of applies the same thing to Fire Punch as well. Fire Punch itself is a name rather than an actual kind of person, because the person you realize who it is isn't who you think it is in the end, technically speaking. But yeah, I do also kind of like that Angel Devil as well, who's otherwise a kind of a symbol in other mediums to be this kind of angelic and actually also devilish kind of character. It makes perfect sense. But I like that in other series you get this kind of grandiose death for either a devil or a kind of a angel. It's actually one of those things that doesn't really actually happen sometimes. You have it in biblical referencing, and also in other series. But I kind of appreciate here that the Angel Devil's death was almost just getting flown away. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It was just getting flown away. It's the most arbitrary and most anticlimactic death in the universe for a character that actually carries so much meaning in the whole entirety of like lore itself. It's a very kind of interesting thing, and it kind of doesn't really highlight how, I guess, Fujimoto actually doesn't really handle character deaths as well, and actually how in theory they tend to be kind of very quick, sudden, and sometimes not actually typical. We actually do in theory understand to be typical death for a character. But it also doesn't very mention the fact that it's getting sucked. Getting flying away and getting sucked into the Typhoon Devil, I guess. But yeah, it's still a kind of anticlimactic death in a way when you think about it, especially for a character like that, because it's kind of one of those things that you imagine it to be something more, because it's an Angel Devil. The Angel Devil is the kind of like it's a juxtaposition, but it's also kind of one of those characters you expect to actually kind of have this very kind of like whoa kind of death, but then to just go out like that, it's like having a hero in a manga or an anime kind of come in like, yo, I'm gonna do this, and immediately die afterwards in the most kind of like contrived manner possible. but it's fitting because the characters in Free actually it's fitting because it doesn't very work, because it's subverting what you expect to happen, especially for a character like that. So, theoretically speaking, Aki doing that is actually kind of like, yeah, it's him realizing that he doesn't want anyone else to die, and actually his perception on the whole entirety of characters is changing. But if he were to let them go, it would have been a kind of very interesting, kind of like very anticlimactic death for a character so revered in other mediums, both literally and figuratively as well, because it's one of those things that it's you see it all the time, how angels are kind of treated versus how devils are treated, and actually how I guess that comes to a head in both kind of characters being as one in a way. But yeah, I mean, we kind of get into the interesting part now. Reze is kind of like Reze is kind of the most interesting character we've got so far when it comes to, like, I guess, the antagonist. Beforehand, there actually have been interesting characters, but I guess in a way because there's more mystery surrounding her than usual. So I guess now we're kind of get into the more interesting part. There might in theory be now more revelations, because they're technically just two of them now. It's rather than just a collective. It's just the two of them. So they could in theory we could in theory see more of like a revelation. There might in theory be a Makima revelation as well, because again, there's something there we don't know just yet. There's a bit in between. I still maintain this has actually happened before, and actually that's why. There could in theory be a whole entire moment that actually just breaks the fourth wall completely, and actually at that point it's just like Chainsaw Man, it's just an entity rather than an actual character. I don't know. Yeah. Essentially, we just got them two. I guess that's what we kind of needed. If Makima were to come in at this point as well, it actually would make sense towards what's going on here, and actually would actually be fitting, actually very kind of cool. Because again, it's just like we need the moment. We need moments to actually kind of just look at who these people are versus what we know them to be, because we don't know who they are at this point, because everything's actually kind of been in some degree kind of deconstructed. Reze's character's been kind of got deconstructed. Denji has in theory also kind of been deconstructed, and so is Makima. Each character actually has a footing in this whole entire fight that needs to be explored. So actually having them two just being there is what we need. Them three, if Makima were to come in, she can actually just be referenced as well. But yeah, I maintain that's actually going to be our kind of next couple of chapters, just exploring them as a collective. Possibly might get some more context on who Power might in theory be as well. It's just still maintain there's something we don't know. In all likelihood, it's got to be the fact that there's multiple Chainsaw Men. There has to be, because again, it's one of those things that Fujimoto plays a lot with the title of the manga, so I'm guessing it might in theory be the case. I don't know, but I would love it to be. It's a kind of a neat twist, actually kind of put in there that it's just a collective name rather than an actual kind of person. But I'm speaking more of a from a figurative sense, I guess. So it might just be a super simple thing. That everything we've been kind of just theorizing this whole entire time might actually not be true. But either way, you can't really predict this whole entire manga. So yeah. Oh man, we've got to wait until Monday now to actually find out what happens next. I thought it might come earlier because it's actually kind of getting to Christmas, but it's actually probably... Is it the final chapter next week, or the chapter after will be the final one of the whole entire year? I can't remember. They actually have a break before or after Christmas. Either way, to wait and see. So yeah, that is me done for today. So as always, actually have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube. They're doing free. Leave a like on YouTube. Leave a like on YouTube. God damn, my brain's frying. Oh man, my brain's frying a little bit today. Yeah, I'm not too... I swear, if I remember correctly, that... Oh, I can just find out. Hold on. Give me a second to find out. Where are we? That's the one I need. Right, so December 17th... okay, so whatever the last week of December is, it'll be the last chapter. So December 21st is the final chapter, and it'll probably return on the first week of December. So I'd imagine, if all things go well, it will be the 23rd. Will be the last chapter of the whole entire year. So we've got 2 more chapters to go before it has a break. It would be quite a Christmas chapter, actually, to be honest. It has to end on the fact of a revelation for Makima. It has to. I do not want anything else. It has to be a revelation for Makima. That'd be the greatest way to actually end up the whole entire year. Because, like, by the way, Markham is actually not the person he thinks she is. It's like, boy, we've been saying that for the last, like, what, 2 months at this point? So it'd be kind of nice actually is the kind of thing. But wait and see. So, yeah. That is the whole entire chapter. So, as what you have enjoyed this whole entire show on Twitch, then do leave a follow on Twitch because, indeed, that's not quite a bit. If you have enjoyed what I do here, you want to leave a like, then do leave a like on YouTube because indeed it's something quite a bit. If you have enjoyed what I do here on YouTube actually a bit longer, then do indeed leave a sub on YouTube because indeed it's something quite a bit. If you have enjoyed what I do here, you actually want to a bit longer, then do indeed leave a follow on Twitter, or join my Discord as well. Both will tell you when these streams go live and streams I do as well. But until next time, some more Chainsaw Man. See you later. Bye for now.